Quartet, a story of, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of, who's a member of a family that has a cast member here. So who has one of the cast members living in their house? So you've heard this script over and over and over. So thank you. We thank you so much for all that repetitive support. It has just been such a fun process. We've got 2 casts running. So this is our first cast tonight. We have another cast tomorrow. We ran a matinee today. We have another matinee tomorrow. So this is a super intense process. The story is so lovely and coming of age, living well, I guess, coming of age in the old age and like really celebrating that last act of life and how you sort of live in that with grace and with vanity and with a flirt, which is Wilf. So we're really lucky. These are wonderful characters and you're going to really see them embodied in the work tonight. So we're thrilled to have you here as Diefenbaker Drama Society, and we're thrilled also to be in collaboration with Cowtown Opera. So you will also take in a fabulous opera show at the end, which just is the pièce de résistance as far as we're concerned. So we're thrilled to have you. There's been tons of work. There's tons of little mice living in the backs of the sets, as in set people, and they're going to move all of our set pieces and our wonderful musicians that are here dressed up from our band program. So we're really lucky. This has been such a collaboration and cross-curricular experience for all of us. So I hope you enjoy the show, and yeah, toy, toy, toy is what they say. It means kick-ass. So let's all toy, toy, toy.
Reginald Paget. Bad hip, sensitive soul, slight hand tremors. Cecilia Robson. Bad hip, beginning signs of Alzheimer's, carpal tunnel. Wilfred Bond. Bad hip, but doesn't stop him from incessant flirting, / playboy. Slight arthritis. Oh, this must be the new one. Jean Horton. A bit vain from what I heard. Temper tantrums on occasion. Bad hip.
Oh, Dr. Kogan, how is it that every time I lay eyes on you, my pacemaker skips a beat?
Wilf, you know as well as I do you don't have a pacemaker.
Not yet anyways, but you keep dressing like that, and it won't be too long till my heart beats right out of my chest. Say, is that a new skirt you're wearing, Dr. Kogan? It clings beautifully to you, and how it accentuates your already beautiful legs.
Oh, Wilf, how you do love to share your admiration, but you must simmer down. I'm a married woman after all.
Oh, doctor, I am simmering at the thought of you, and I feel as though you come any closer, I might just boil over. Say, Sissy, have I ever told you you have the most lovely face I've ever set eyes on? In fact, your whole being causes me to pulsate with desire. I'll tell you what I'd like to do to you. I'd like to take you to dinner when you least expect it. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Do stop it, Wilf. The joke is wearing thin.
Which is more than you can say for Sissy. You were always a bit of a goer, weren't you, Sissy? From my own observations years ago. I'd say you would have loved to have a man like me around. Am I right?
Please, Wilfred, I have asked politely.
The stagehands and electricians were your fancy. You weren't too keen on your fellow artistes. You weren't too keen on me, or Reg there. But I say you should have coupled with me those far-off days beyond recall. Can't say it would have made the wild geese fly, but we would have enjoyed ourselves.
Do stop it. You're beginning to repeat yourself. You've been on about the wild geese all week.
Oh, I can't help it, Reg. Talking dirty to Sissy excites me. These days, it's one of the only things that does. Problem with Sissy was, she liked manly men, and, well, she was happy it off with a scene painter from Bethnal Green.
Stop it, Wilf.
Oh, Reggie, listen to this. I just remembered. I think my quest is over. I think I found the question that will elicit the answer Sissy gives every time she takes off her headphones. I told you I was working on it, didn't I? Sissy, It's not too late to indulge an old man. What do you say?
I'm ready.
There, what I tell you, I'm ready.
What's so funny?
Oh, I can't remember now.
Thank God somebody else can't remember things.
I have something in mind you'd have no problem remembering. I wonder who the new arrival is.
There's a new arrival? Wait, who?
If I knew, I wouldn't be wondering.
I do wish they would tell us these things. Why are they so secretive?
It's the only way they can keep control over us. Secrecy nourishes power. It's like living in North Korea.
It's very disagreeable.
I'm certain it's someone grand.
And why do you say that?
Oh, just an impression. I've thought for days now there's been something going on. All the whispering and excitement.
I loathe the whispering. I always think they're whispering about me. Sissy Robson.
And bundling us through breakfast.
Don't mention breakfast in my presence!
And hurrying us out of the way. You'll do trading matron in a sweat. Yes, I've thought for days now they're expecting someone grand.
Why didn't you say anything? No one else seems to know. Nobody's mentioned it. Reg, did you know?
I'm sure Ernest Newman's right. The fundamental impulse of all art cannot be poetical.
Oh, don't be boring, Reg. Instead of reading about Wagner, why not try the Kama Sutra?
Because Reggie's a gentleman, which is more than we can say for you. So glad, Reggie, that you're safely back from India.
I would have liked to have sung Tristan or Siegfried just once, but they never came my way.
Only bloody foreigners sing Wagner. We're best at the English composers. Racine, Donizetti, Giuseppe Verdi.
I read somewhere once that if Giuseppe Verdi had been born in England, he would have been called Joe Green. I don't think he would have had much of a career called Joe Green. Do you see the joke? Verdi is Italian, it means green.
Sissy, dear, jokes aren't funny if you have to explain them. You just stick to being pretty. At least you're good at that.
Speaking of Verdi, any ideas for the 10th of October?
I think we should do solos.
But a trio would be less demanding, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but what trio? It would have to be something I know. I'm not sure I could learn anything new.
We better have a proper meeting later.
Oh, you and your meetings, can't we just talk about it?
So glad, Reggie, that you're safely back from India. And did I tell you boys that I received a check for my Rosina and the barber? I'm going to go see who the new arrival is.
Why India?
I have no idea.
Has she relatives there?
Her father was Indian Army. Last week, she was welcoming me back from the pyramids of Giza.
Wow, you certainly get about. She's becoming rather a baddie. We don't want her sent away. I worry for her.
No, heaven forbid.
Oh, Sissy. Her face is still that of an angel, unlined and innocent. And my God, from my own observations years ago, she was a busy girl. Whew, at it all the time. I tried, but didn't have any luck. She was having it off with the scene painter from Bethnal Green. Do you think we'll get a check for our Rigoletto CD?
Most likely. I heard it was selling rather well.
Really? Where'd you hear that?
Can't remember now. Someone told me.
Rigoletto. I'm glad they reissued it, but they might have put our photographs on the cover instead of just our names. Bloody agents. Still, it looks rather handsome. Horton, Bond, Paget, Robson. Makes you feel you're still alive. I ought to get top billing. Name part after all. But those were the days, huh, Reg? I remember the production, the recording sessions, everything as if it were yesterday. But I still can't remember what we had for breakfast this morning.
I said don't mention breakfast.
The Quartet's never been better sung.
Have you listened to it?
No, odd that. Don't want to hear myself young again. Have you listened?
No, for other reasons.
Yes, sorry. Clumsy of me to have erased it. Dizzy heights those days, huh? Canuck rivals Gobby, front page Daily Mail, and my picture with the caption, Horton, Wilfred Bond. Sorry, I'm old. Wilfred Bond, a new star, question mark. The question mark I thought to be somewhat unnecessary, but alas, accurate.
Yes, I remember the fuss.
I was famous for a day. Or was it a week?
The fickle
Finger fashion. But I made a living. That's all I ever wanted. See, I've no sensitivity. That's my problem. Unlike you, Reg, you're an artist. I'm an artisan.
Your real problem, Wilf, is that you've always sold yourself short. You sometimes have the most amazing insights.
What a good friend you are. One good turn deserves another. I've thought of a name for your autobiography, The Tenor of His Ways. How's it sound?
Not bad.
The Tenor of His Ways by Reginald Paget. That's handsome. How's it coming?
Slowly.
How far have you gotten?
I've had my first piano lesson, Mrs. Lieberman.
How old were you?
7.
Tell me when you get to puberty. That's when things will get interesting. Oh, and I have a thought for you about art.
You see, you're not as uneducated as you'd like to pretend. Oddly enough, I wrote an aphorism this morning, also about art. Here it is. The uneducated believes only art which is popular is always good, but art which is good is never popular. That's the cultural watchword of our times. I think that rather neat, don't you? The uneducated believes only art which is popular is always good, but art which is good is never popular. What do you think? Do you think it's accurate?
Spot on.
I know who it is. I saw her. You're right. Someone grand, but you'll never guess who. Never.
Who? We don't want to be kept in suspense for eternity.
I saw her. Large as life and twice as terrifying.
Who, for God's sake?
You'll never believe this. What's her name?
Come on, sissy, think.
G, a woman.
G, a woman, let's think.
Soprano, famous.
Ah, famous soprano beginning with G. Gallia Churchy.
No, not her. She's dead. Isn't she?
I wouldn't be surprised. Come on, sissy, think.
Gilda. Our Gilda.
Yes, Gilda, our Gilda. You mean Jean Horton?
Yes, how clever of you. Yes, Jean Horton.
Jean Horton here? Good God. You alright, old son?
Jean. Here, are you sure?
Certain. Il Duce was showing her around. He was basking in reflected glory. He looked like a bulldog that had just been told that they weren't going to have him neutered after all.
Jean. Here.
God, she's here.
Hello?
Welcome to Beecham House for retired musicians. Most of our residents are on the floor upstairs. This is Mr. Thomas Beecham, one of Britain's greatest conductors.
Yes, I know who he was. He inherited a fortune. His grandfather made laxatives. Naming a nursing home after him is either frighteningly accurate or in extremely poor taste.
Well, aren't these flowers lovely? I had the staff put them together to welcome you. I'll have them sent up to your room. We're very lucky to have you. Your room's almost as large as Anne Langley's.
Oh God, she here?
It's a beautiful suite in what we call the B-wing.
Well, it sounds like a prison.
Well, the service lift is currently being repaired, but there's a chairlift which is much easier.
Chairlift? What do I do when I get to the top? Ski down?
Let me show you to your room.
Steady, Reg, steady.
But how could they do this without informing me? It's intolerable.
Perhaps they didn't know. You know what they're like.
Did I tell you guys I received a small check for my Rosina and the barber?
It's monstrous.
No, it wasn't all that big. After you, didn't she marry Freddie Milton?
Yes, and after Freddie Milton, Michael Reese, and after Michael Reese,
She had that fling with Enrico Cardinale. And remember, because it was all in the papers.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like. And if it's any consolation, she's aged terribly.
How old can she be now?
A little older than me.
What, late 80s?
Don't be so ridiculous. Much, much younger. Much. But she looks 100. I'm gonna go see what's going on. I'll be back.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, of course not.
And whatever you say or do, don't be sympathetic.
Me, sympathetic. Don't know the meaning of the word.
I really can do without this in my time of life.
I'm sorry, Reg.
I said don't be sympathetic.
Do you want me to leave?
No, don't.
I'll go.
And stop that humming. Please, it's the most irritating habit. It's been so calm here, so agreeable. Now, Jean, I've tried to forget the past. I've blotted her out. I don't want any more pain. I have taught myself to live in the present, and now this. It's like waking from an anesthetic to an unfriendly face. That's why I positively liked getting old. Age helps one to forget that which is best forgotten. And in some perverse way, I've enjoyed the course of nature. The falling of petty ambitions, the withering of ridiculous pride, and the physical decay has seemed natural and inescapable. I think I can say that I welcomed the inevitable cheerfully. I lived simply, I ate frugally, I allowed myself on doctor's orders 1 glass of red wine a day. I bought the occasional CD and secondhand book. I repaired my clothes and never wore the same pair of shoes 2 days running. My one indulgence was to buy, from time to time, my favorite cologne. I scrimped and I saved, and for what purpose? So that I could afford a decent room without strain, without charity, a decent room of my own in this house, shared with men and women, some of whom had been my colleagues, and can be cared for and allowed to enjoy a dignified and tranquil salinity. Now she arrives and shatters everything. I don't want to face my failures. It seems so unfair.
A broken marriage isn't necessarily equated to failure, is it?
It is in my case.
Well, it could have been just that. Incompatibility. 2 people in the same profession, careers colliding. And an agreement made for mutual benefit. A decision made to live separately. And she was more to blame for it if I know anything about it.
And what do you know about it? You were married to the same woman for 35 years. Not everyone was like you and Melissa.
I've hated it. Hated growing old. Hated everything about it. First, it's your prostate and peeing 3 times nightly. And if it's not your prostate, it's shingles. And then your teeth fall out and your eyes start watering and it's cataracts and you can't remember anyone's name and you can't remember your own name. And the doctors know bugger all. Have a bypass. Try a pacemaker. Ooh, ow. Nothing we can do for a cramp. Try this. Try that. Stop smoking. Watch your cholesterol. Lower your blood pressure. Hit and miss. Mostly miss. And I'll tell you, when it comes to women, it's adios, Speedy Gonzalez.
They've discovered a new pill for that, haven't they?
Yes, a blue one. I asked Dr. Kogan for it. The conversation, she was like, Ralph, what do you need that for? And I said, what do you think I need it for? And she said, I'll give you something to calm me down. And I said, I don't need anything to calm me down. I'm too bloody calm as it is. And she said, remind me how old you are? And I told her to piss off.
Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Precisely, right? See, you're a poet. How did that go? Rage, rage?
You have the most extraordinary gift of cheering one up.
It's odd you should say that. Your ex said something to me along the lines of that a million years ago. We were rehearsing Rigoletto, that damned quartet, going through hell. You must have been there. Sissy was. I remember because she was crying because Jean was being her usual difficult self. So I goosed her, just for the hell of it. And she said, oh, Wilfred, you're vulgar and crude and have the intellect of a fly. But you are a giver of life, and that is a beautiful thing. I will thank you to never pitch my bottom again. Oh, I always remember that. I've told it countless times. Were you very unhappy? How long were you married? I've always wondered, why did she retire so suddenly?
Yes. After she married Michael Reese, she was at the height of her powers. And then she stopped. just like that. She said she wanted to devote herself to being a mother and a wife. I don't know the real reason.
You're right. That doesn't sound like Jean. She's about as motherly as Mussolini.
She always ran from the truth. No attempt to deal with it, especially if it was unpleasant. Just run away.
That's a great idea. Let's run away. Tonight. Tonight. Let's run away. We'll hire a taxi.
Mr. Dunworth from the village, and we'll have a good night and get to leave brands and lists. Don't worry about the costs because we'll spend our Rigoletto royalties before we even know what they are. We'll tie one on and do ourselves proud at the Palomino.
Bloody Angelique didn't give me my marmalade again this morning.
We'll have a good dinner, retire to the bar, then come back here, and stand outside Jean's room and sing the duet from the Pearl Fisher. How's that sound?
Wilfred, Reginald, here's Jean in all her glory.
Yes, yes, I know. How the mighty have fallen.
Tactless is over.
How you change.
Didn't I say so? She still looks like a young girl. You'll feel terribly out of place here. We're all withered and old, and you look as you always did. Youthful and glowing.
How sweet you both are. Reggie, it's me, Jean.
I know who you are.
Don't be hard on me, Reg. After all these years, I can't bear it.
He's just upset because no one warned him you were coming.
I'm not upset.
That's entirely my fault, Reggie. I didn't want any fuss. You know what the media are like. If they'd learned I'd ended up here, they'd gloat. That was clumsy of me.
No, just par for the course.
I'm surprised the media still have any interest in you.
That's very cruel, Reg. I hope you haven't become cruel.
Yes, well, you know all about cruelty, wouldn't you?
You were never cruel. You were always kind and gentle and unassertive.
Unassertive. That's right, though. Salt on the wound.
As a matter of fact, and this will obviously surprise you, I continue to cut a figure. The other night, I was George's guest at Covent Garden. When I entered his box, I received a standing ovation. So gratifying. Reg, please say something kind to me. We will have to be friends if I'm to live here. If not friends, then at least let's be polite to each other. I must sit. I'm on a waiting list for a head. Reggie, dearest, I knew that you were resident here and that my presence might cause difficulties. But
Difficulties.
I had no alternative, believe me. So let me say what I have to say. I apologize for leaving you. Please be kind to me. We were different people then. There, I've been rehearsing saying that all week. This is like the first day of school or a first rehearsal. One wants so much to make a good impression. Tell me all about things here. The director seems frightfully charming.
We call him El Duce.
El Duce, how very amusing. Yes, I see why. I have to say, I was dreadfully disappointed to have so many chorus members pointed out to me. I don't know any of them personally, of course, but one or two I thought I'd seen before. And so many orchestral musicians. I'd hoped there'd be a great many more, what shall I say, virtuosi.
Well, Frank White is here, but I don't think for much longer. They'll send him away soon. He's not very well now, poor lad. He can hardly breathe. And I'm not sure he knows where he is anymore. He keeps to his room all day and doesn't want any visitors, not even me. But what a star he was. And he was so strong. Occasionally he'd let me hold his flute. Gold and gleaming it was. He could make it sound like a choir of angels.
And could that have been Bobby Swanson lurking in the corner?
Indeed it could.
He looked right past me.
Bobby's eyesight isn't what it was. They were waiting for his cataracts to ripen, but apparently cataracts don't have to ripen. It's all microsurgery. Bloody doctors.
Such an intense little man. He looked as though he was spying for a foreign power.
Bobby's alright, just a little disappointed. Why should he be like anybody else? He wanted to conduct, and, well, they wouldn't let him. I always thought he was a miracle worker.
Yes, someone I knew. Enrico Cardinale, you might remember him. He swore by Bobby. I forget what they did together, but Enrico needed a lot of help, in more ways than one. And of course, I always thought that he and Bobby...
And we all have our little areas that you gravitate to and call our own. This is ours. This little terrace and the music room. When I arrived, the walls were hung with nothing but still life paintings, dead birds, dead fish, and artichokes. It was too depressing, so I was allowed to redecorate.
Yes, I can see. I never thought style your strong point.
We like to think of ourselves as a rather exclusive club.
The elite. That's what we are. The elite.
And when I say that you're very welcome to join us, I'm sure I speak for everybody. You don't speak for me. But Jean, you have to obey our one rule. NSP, no self-pity. And there are 2 questions that you must never ask. How are you, and what are your plans for today? That's all you have to remember.
I must say, I've had the loveliest welcome. Walking through the dining room, everyone seemed to recognize me. There was even a light pat of hands. So touching. Rather like the other night at Covent Garden as George's guest. When I entered his box, I received a standing ovation. Wasn't that something?
Once in New York, I received a standing
And
ovation.
isn't the garden here a joy? I do love my Magalias and digitalis. And the roses.
You should have seen it last month. Polyanthus and forget-me-nots. I don't suspect you get those in India.
Thank heavens for the heat, for the breeze. I feel the heat. And yet there's nothing to me. It must be ghastly for you, sissy, carrying all that weight. And to think I used to love lying in the sun for hours and hours on end.
And beyond the covered beach, there's a bluebell where we're allowed to walk, but not unaccompanied. You have to get a bleeper from nature. The bluebells were quite glorious this year. But they're finished now.
Like us.
Oh, you mustn't say that, Jean. We're all so fortunate to be here, all in one piece. I mean, not that one doesn't get depressed from time to time with all the secrecy and whispering and people coming and going. Of course one does, but it never lasts for long. How could it? There's so much to cheer one up. People coming, people going, new faces, old friends, fitness classes, OT, that's occupational therapy, and all sorts of lectures. It's such fun. And for someone like me who never married, never had children, and whose nearest and dearest are long departed, this place is like a godsend, a fairground ablaze with fairy lights. And the people here are so interesting, so surprising. One of the men, a dramatic tenor. His name's gone, but you must meet him. He sang Othello somewhere with a Desdemona from, you'll never guess where, Ghana. Isn't that fascinating? Though what it did to the plot, he never explained.
There's a rather brutal-looking gardener, isn't there, sissy? Answers to the name Carlos, works stripped to the waist, muscles rippling, awash in sweat.
I like the smell of sweat.
Careful, sissy, you might blow the fuse on your pacemaker.
I could watch him work for hours. Frank White smelt of honey. Jean, did they show you the pool? They keep it at almost 80 degrees. I swim every morning.
And I watch her. It's the only exercise I take.
Reggie, dearest, please say something to me. I was so looking forward to seeing you again. Truly, we don't have to talk about the past. What was, was. Just let's be friends, now and forever. I trust our fellow residents don't go on and on about their past successes, or failures, as the case may be. I do find that tiresome, don't you? But it's a symptom of old age, I fear. That and repeating oneself. My late husband did it all the time.
Which late husband?
Nigel Harris.
Was he your fourth or your fifth?
What's the food like?
Perfect if you like grey roast lamb and lumpy pudding, sometimes served together. It's like a shepherd's pie from hell.
Who is Nigel Harris?
How long have you all been here?
Just over a year, me.
9 months.
And Reggie's a good boy. You've served, what, 6 months of your sentence?
I was sorry to hear about your wife, Belinda. Was her name Belinda?
Her name was Melissa, and she was loving, tolerant, understanding, and they were married for 35 years.
Cut it out. There's a good chap.
And what's all this about the 10th of October? The director said he was sure of the committee. Did he say committee? Well, he was sure they'd expect me to do something. Some sort of concert, I gathered. What's so special about the 10th of October? He didn't explain.
There's a birthday gala.
Whose birthday?
Joe Green's.
I don't think I know who he is.
No. I'll explain. The gala committee. I'm a member. I was co-opted the week after I arrived. They wanted someone lively. Reggie really ought to be the chair, and we all wanted to elect him, but Cedric clings to office. It's such fun. We have minutes, and we read at the business, and there's apologies, and it's such fun. It makes us feel so important. And yes, there's a gala on Verdi's birthday every year. Giuseppe Verdi, Joe Green. Do you see the joke, Jean? Verdi is Italian. It means green.
Once again, Sissy dear, jokes aren't funny if you have to explain
Yes,
them.
of course.
His birthday's the 10th of October, and we celebrate it. And we have little doughs for Tommy Beecham's birthday, or his death. I'm never sure which. And Ben Britton, and even Mozart gets a look in. Everyone's expected to do something. This year, people want Reggie to sing La Donna e Mobile. Don't they, Reggie?
I fell in love with Reggie when I first heard him sing that. Is anyone else performing?
Yes, Anne Langley. We're going to have a star turn this year. She'll perform her Violetta.
Anne Langley. Here. I thought they'd committed her.
They will once they hear her Violetta.
Is she still so lumpy?
We were built differently in those days.
I wasn't. And I always thought Anne Langley's upper register sounded like a mouse giving birth to an elephant. Reggie, won't you come for a walk and show me the garden?
Leave me in peace, Jean. For Christ's sake, leave me in peace. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was out of hand. I was always taught that the definition of a true gentleman was someone who was never unintentionally rude. And that remark just slipped out. It was unworthy.
I've had such a difficult time. I'm here on charity.
So am I. So is Sissy, and so are most of the roommates. There's nothing wrong with charity, so long as you're undeserving.
I'm not a charity. I paid my own way.
Remember, Reg, NSP, no self-pity.
The same cologne. 4/7-11. I didn't know you could still buy it. God, that takes me back. It takes me back to you, Reg. Smells like to me what Madeline's were to Proust.
Madeline who?
Smells and music, of course.
Sissy, I just saw Carlos headed towards the yurt guard. Looked like he was taking his shirt off.
Where? Where? I can't see him.
He disappeared just behind the cover beach.
Carlos! Carlos, wait up!
I'm gonna go see if this month's issue of my bikini magazine has arrived.
I can never remember you crying.
My mother taught me to never let others see I was hurt. Reggie, we have to come to some arrangement.
Your mother knew all about hiding her feelings. It was easy for her. She didn't have any. When I first met her, I thought she never smiled because she had horrible teeth. But I was wrong. They revealed themselves when she ate those gleaming fangs. She never smiled because nothing amused her, not even you leaving me. She's dead by now, surely.
Yes, 12 years ago. No, 13. And don't be unkind about her, please.
I liked your father, though. When he heard that you'd left, he telephoned and said, "Sorry, old chap, but count your blessings. I'm married to her mother." He's gone too, I suppose.
Yes. He died a year before Mom. They were both so proud of me. Not a day goes by when I don't think of them. I liked your parents, but they didn't approve.
No.
Reggie, please be kind to me. We were different people then. There. I've been rehearsing that all week.
You've said that before. You're repeating yourself.
Am I? Oh God, do stop me if I do it again. I mean it, nevertheless.
Mean what?
That I'm truly, truly sorry I hurt you so much. I suffered terrible remorse, you know, but I was so young and impetuous, and I was so shocked.
Stop it, Jean. Stop it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to remember. When Sissy announced that you were here, I reacted rather too sharply, and even more so when I first saw you. The depths of my feelings took me by surprise, but I'm over it now. I'm too old to relive ancient history. It's too tiring and totally pointless. You're here, I'm here, trapped. That's all there is to it.
I knew our marriage was going to be a disaster the moment my dad led me down the aisle.
Did you?
Yes. When I saw the priest, his cheeks were sunken and there were deep circles under his eyes. He had the haunted look of an as a clown. It was a bad omen. Poor Reggie.
Poor Reggie. Don't ever say that again either.
And now we are old.
Yes, now you're old.
How do you pass your time here?
I listen to music. I read. I enjoy the company of my friends. I don't want to become institutionalized, so I try not to watch television. I'm writing my autobiography. If I need to tire myself, I think about art. And if I need to exhaust myself, I think about life. But art is my chief preoccupation. Its purpose, its meaning, its ability to educate and intro, to civilize. Cow! See her? See her? There she goes. Angelique, the wardress dressed in white by the box hedge, calls herself a nurse. See her? Cow! Buffoon! Idiot! She won't give me my marmalade at breakfast. She gives everyone else marmalade except me. She gives me apricot jam. I hate apricot jam. She does it deliberately. Cow! Art is the medicine of mankind, Jean. But what is its strength? Ernest Newman is right. It's not poetical. I have come to the conclusion that the true fountainhead of art is life itself. Life in all its diversity, ugliness, beauty. No, that's too pompous, pretentious, affected. Oh, it's so hard to define.
Do you listen to your old recordings?
Not if you're on them, I don't.
I listen to myself a lot.
Yes, I'd have guessed that.
They've reissued our Rigoletto.
They want me to sing La Donnie Mobile for Vardy's birthday gala.
Yes, Sissy.
La Donnie Mobile, women are as fickle as a feather in the wind, and the image I shall carry is of you as Gilda. It will be a great success.
Did you hear me say I fell in love with you when I first heard you sing?
It took 12 curtain calls.
You took 9. I took 12. Rather like the other night, as George's guest.
You're repeating yourself.
Am I?
More than once. But what does it matter? In opera, we repeat ourselves all the time. All the time, we repeat ourselves all the time, all the time.
My trouble was, I never, ever thought of the future. I lived from one day to the next without a care. I sang, I traveled, I spent my money and my husband's money. When I married him,
What did he do?
magazines. A widower and a great lover of opera. He used to be at all the parties. It's a banal little story. I've always been hopeless with money. I was told he was very rich. He courted me. I encouraged him, shamelessly. We married. He had a flat in Eaton Square. He was a delightful companion. One evening, just before Christmas, we were dressing to go to dinner when he complained of indigestion. So I went into the bathroom to fetch medicine, and when I returned, he was lying on the floor, already dead. His lawyer came to see me. The flat was rented. Nigel wasn't as rich as I'd been led to believe. I didn't want to come here, believe me, but I had no alternative.
What about your children? Didn't you and Michael Reese have children?
Christopher and Emma, they're darlings. You'll meet them, they've promised to visit.
Can't they help?
Not really, Christopher's a priest.
A priest, really?
Yes, he plays the guitar, C of E, in Godrich. He got the call when I ran off with Enrico Cardinale. Do you remember Enrico?
Yes, a bass.
Bass by voice and bass by nature. Such a bad picker of men.
Thank you.
And Emma's married to a school teacher, so they're as poor as church mice. And they each have children of their own. I have 6 grandchildren.
And here you are.
Yes. On charity. Me! On charity. I have nothing, Reggie. Nothing. My clothes, a few jewels, and the hip that gives me hell. Why do we have to get old? What about you? Did you ever remarry?
No,
Oh, why not?
because I was holding a candle.
What do you mean?
When travelers would leave home early in the morning, before there were flashlights or light bulbs, their loved ones would see them off by candlelight. So they'd leave, and whoever was left behind would wait for them. And sometimes, if it got too dark, their loved ones would stand outside to make sure the candle did blow out. And whoever they were waiting for could always find their way back when they wanted to.
Reggie.
Good. There you are. Great excitement. We must talk, the 4 of us. Where's Wilfred? I'll go find him.
She's become very eccentric.
No, she's the same as she always was, only more so.
She said something to me I thought very odd. About India.
Yes, she's begun to think people have just come back from somewhere. We must keep a watchful eye on her. We don't want her sent away. They do that, you see, if we become terminally wayward.
Oh, there you 2 are. Yes, Sissy said she was looking for you. I told her you'd be in here.
She said she was looking for you.
Really? She seemed to be in some state of excitement. Maybe Carlos exposed himself to her. That, or she booked her ticket to India. Have you and Jean made peace?
Not exactly peace, a truce perhaps. Negotiations are continuing.
Remind me, how long were you 2 married?
There you all are. I thought you must be avoiding me. I had something very important to tell you. Some proposal, I think?
Carlos asked you to marry him.
No, it wasn't that. I remember looking for Carlos and then someone approached me, wearing chiffon.
Chiffon must have been Cedric.
Yes, of course, it was Cedric. Now, what did he say?
You remember Cedric Livingston? Not as handsome as you, but twice as ladylike.
Vaguely.
Countertenor Castrato, in his case. Over 90, chairman of the gala committee, really runs the place. This or prison, he'd be a drug baron. Here, he's a drag baron.
The old ones are the best, eh, Wilf?
What are new inmates to not tell the old jokes to?
Please don't call me an inmate.
That was it. The committee. Such excitement. They want us to sing the quartet from Rigoletto and Giuseppe's Verdi Gala.
What a damn fool idea.
But it's a great honor, Jean.
A great honor. The 4 of us, average age 198, singing the quartet from Rigoletto. It's not an honor, sissy. It's insanity.
But we have to do something for the gala.
Why?
Because we do, that's why. Everyone's expected to do something. And our Rigoletto is rather famous. I was listening to it this morning. We sounded lovely, and that's why they've reissued it.
I wish they would.
What am I to tell Cedric?
That he should only wear chiffon at night.
No, about the gala.
She's on a knife's edges, Jean. Close to a breakdown.
Jean, close to a breakdown? Stop playing my leg.
I'd like to pull both of them, Sissy, but if you're only offering one, I'll settle for that.
I think the quartet is a rather lovely idea.
Not for 3, it isn't.
We could try to persuade her. On the committee, we're always persuading each other.
To do what?
Never thought I'd feel sorry for Jean, but she touched my heart a moment ago, and I resent it.
Forgive and forget, Reg.
I may forgive, I shall never forget, though God knows I try.
This is not a retirement home. It's a madhouse.
Welcome back from India, Jean.
Oh, I thought I'd gone alone.
I've just been surrounded by toothless crones, all saying how excited they are at the thought of seeing me as Gilda. And then some creature, I suppose it was Cedric Livingston because he was wearing what looked like a sari, said, "The quartet will be the finale."
Lovely. That's the star spot.
And Langley will be put out.
Congrats, one hopes. I want it understood here and now that I consider the whole notion utterly ridiculous. And Sissy, please make that known to Bobby Swanson, Anne Langley, Cedric Livingston, and all the other residents of this asylum, and please do so immediately. God, why did I ever come here?
Jean, wait. Don't be hasty. Let's discuss this, please. That's all I ask. If we can't make the gala the hottest ticket in town, this place will collapse about our ears. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Beecham Retirement House has been facing significant financial struggles. Quite frankly, I don't think we'll be staying here by this time next year if we can't raise enough money to keep this place open. I'm ready. Shall we all pay attention?
I won't do it, so there's no point in going on.
But Jean, it will be fun, I promise.
It would not be fun. Nothing's fun anymore. Everything's poisoned.
The first question is, do we in principle accept the committee's invitation?
The committee. Most of them were probably in the chorus when I made my debut as Violetta. They were still there at my last performance.
Not Anne Langley. She was a very fine Violetta.
Oh, please, don't talk such rubbish. Violetta is supposed to be dying of tuberculosis. Anne Langley looked as if she was singing Falstaff.
If we do decide to sing, we'll need a pianist.
Bobby Swanson. He'll he'll be a major help.
I mean, he is still a pretty good pianist. I think it could be a great occasion. The first time the four of us sing together, and God knows how long.
I say no, and I won't change my mind. We'd sound like four cats mating.
What's the general feeling? Do we sing the quartet from Rigoletto on Varda's birthday gala, or do we not?
Yes.
2 to 1, we do it.
I'm not bound by your stupid rules.
They're not my rules, Jean. It's the way democracy works.
You've taken leave of your senses. We are not a political party. We're 4 individuals. I don't want to do it, and I'm not going to do it, and that's that. Democracy has nothing to do with art.
Alas, that's very true.
But Jean, it's such an honor to be given the finale. I never would have imagined in my wildest dreams that I would be singing the quartet from Rigoletto and the finale of Verdi's birthday gala. It's your arrival that made it all possible.
No, I absolutely refuse. I will not sing Gilda or anything else. Please listen to what I have to say.
We're listening.
I don't know how to explain.
Try, we've all the time in the world.
I'm in a state of shock. This is my first day here. Don't interrupt. I'm talking. I think you'll all admit that my voice was much admired. I have a memory of that voice. I remember what it was like to hear myself, soaring effortlessly. Yes, effortlessly, as though the gift I'd been given.
Lunch! Lunch, Jean. Hurry, or all the mashed potatoes will be gone.
Conversation. One, two.
Lovely play. Have a good day.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Bonds.
Good morning, Dr. Kogan.
Dr. Kogan! Dr. Kogan!
Who was that? It sounded like Sissy.
What sounded like Sissy? I wasn't concentrating.
Whoever screamed contralto. I watched her swim this morning. She seemed perfectly robust. If that was Sissy's voice, it's going to need a lot of work. Oh, I had a thought for you about a trio.
Yes.
The one from the barber. The scene with the ladder after the storm. Sissy knows Rosina. You must know Alamavia, and I've done Figaro countless times.
I have a feeling Jean will relent.
Reggie, where have you been? Jean said no, and when Jean says no, she means it. Doesn't she? I mean, you were married to her, for God's sakes. You know her better than anyone.
Jean is a star, and stars always find it extremely difficult, not to say impossible, to deal with that which is unpleasant. I've been preparing an argument which, I believe, will help her come to terms with her present reality. I believe I can make her change her mind.
Oh, really?
Sissy,
It's so difficult always trying to see the good in people.
what happened?
She threw something at me.
Who threw something at you?
Jean, of course. Dr. Kogan's given me a pill to calm me down.
Dr. Kogan would.
Tell us all about it. Andante Expressivo.
Well, after she took to her room yesterday, or was it the day before?
It doesn't matter. Just continue, Sissy.
I thought I would go to try and see her after lunch, and so I knocked on the door. There was no answer. I tried the door, but it was locked, and... 1 minute, I need to sit down. I'm feeling a little bit dizzy.
Why did you scream?
Because just a few moments ago, I thought I would try again.
Try what again?
To see Jean. I don't like her being upset. I don't like anyone being upset. You see, last night at dinner, Anne Langley reported something very odd.
What, that she lost weight?
No! Anne happened to be in the kitchen.
Wonder why.
She was peeling something or other when she saw Jean get into a taxi, Mr. What's-his-name from the village.
Douglas. Smells of mothballs.
Yes, Mr. Dunkirk. And not more than 20 minutes later, Anne saw Jean return clutching the gift wrap package. Well, I thought to myself, she must be feeling better. I'll go try to see her in the morning. So just a few moments ago, I did. I knocked on the door, and there was no reply again, and I tried it, and it was unlocked this time. So I put my head around and said, Jean, it's me, Sissy. She just looked at me, coldly. And then something came flying at me. A saucer, I think. It shattered, and I screamed, and Dr. Kogan happened to be upstairs, and she gave me a pill to calm me down. I think it's working. I hope Jean was wrong. She said everything is poisoned. I don't want things to be poisoned. It's not like we have that much time left.
What do you think's upset her so much?
It's not very pleasant to have something thrown at one.
Not Sissy, I mean Jean. Because I know what upset Sissy. I want to know what's upset Jean so much. It couldn't have just been us suggesting the quartet.
She's asleep.
Yeah.
The pill.
Isn't she lovely asleep? Look, she's even got a little smile on her face. I'd love to wake up to that smile in the morning. Oh God.
What?
Oh, I hope it wasn't shoplifting.
I'm not following you.
Jean's package. I hope she didn't pinch it.
She's broke, of course, but she's not that desperate.
No, it has nothing to do with money.
Then what?
We all know what starts with shoplifting.
I don't.
Right. The Laura Armstrong incident happened right before you got here.
Who's Laura Armstrong?
The cellist. The guy's like a rugby player. Always had a mad urge to tackle her.
And?
I just so happened to be in drive when the police car arrived. Laura was in the back. She had been caught nicking black undies and a leather belt. When I first heard that, I thought, hello. But it wasn't too long until she was carted off.
To prison, do you mean?
No, to India.
India? What are you talking about?
She lost her mind.
Oh, Lord. And it started with shoplifting, did it? And you think Jean's headed the same way?
It's just a thought.
I have come to apologize to Sissy.
She's asleep.
I've also come to apologize to you and Wilfred for my behavior yesterday.
I don't remember you throwing anything at us.
Don't make fun of me. And Reggie, I've brought you a gift. Well, open it.
Oh, Jean. Marmalade. Just what I wanted.
No.
See? Told you so.
But I feel I must explain why I'm so opposed to it. Not for you, you must do what you think is best. But for myself, I've had time to think about it.
It's such a shame. Cedric said we could use some of the old Carl Rosa costumes. He even told me who'd left them to us. I can't remember the name, but the year 1961 sticks in my brain. I do wish Jean would change her mind.
Well, I won't.
Jean, was it very awful in India?
Oh, God.
And it's lime marmalade, my favorite. You remember it. You've touched me deeply, such an original present.
Sissy, I apologize for losing my temper. I've cried more in the past 2 days than in all my life.
Well, you can stop now. We'll do the trio from the barber.
Try to understand this from my point of view. I hope I can remember all the things I want to say. I was somebody once.
We were all somebody once.
I thought I was somebody
But
now.
I shone brightest in the spotlight.
Yes, you were a star. Yes, we know.
I was. And don't disparage me. It isn't easy to be me now.
Was it ever? Don't go, Jean. I'm sorry. I won't be obnoxious again. It's my turn now to make something clear to you. I, too, have been thinking a lot about it. You've come here, and I believe I quote you accurately because you said you had no alternative. It's not a madhouse, Jean, no more than anywhere else. It's a community of people from the same profession with similar experiences. And we happen to be highly individual, often eccentric.
Eccentric? Us? How do you think up these things?
And all of us, without exception, are old. I believe whatever community you find yourself in, it's best to live by its rules and customs.
Reggie's right. Better suck it up. That, or you're the guest of honor at the crematorium.
I have no complaints apart from the secrecy and whispering. I think we're very lucky to be here. I do. I really
Well,
do.
I don't. I'd hoped my last few years would be quite different.
And they're not.
You can't change it.
And one of the traditions that we have here is that we all come together on the birth of Giuseppe Verdi and throw a little concert, and everyone takes
It's
part.
grotesque and obscene.
Don't be so aggressive, God, Jean. You haven't changed. You never think. You never draw breath. You just bulldoze over everyone's feelings. You
Yes,
never...
and I don't intend to change. Why should I?
Oh, because you feel better if you do. And besides, they'll help time pass. Something to look forward because here, time, I assure you, does not pass slowly. It hobbles on by on its own two crutches.
What you refuse to understand is that I'm a different person now.
No, you're not. And nor are we. Yes, we've aged, but it all happened so fast we didn't have time to change. In spirit, I'm still the lovely lad I've always been. I just so happen to be trapped in a cage made of rusty iron bars.
I'm not. I'm a different person now. But I revere the memory of what I once was.
Who are we talking about now?
We're talking about me.
Jean Horton, that was.
Yes, Jean Horton that was. I revere her memory and will do nothing to tarnish what she achieved. So the very idea that I should
Let
even
go,
attempt
Jean. Let go. There's no holding on to these things. Face reality. For once in your life, we're alive now and not for much longer. So make the most of it. Make the most of these days, these hours, this moment. To hell with the Jean Horton that was. We're alive. Let's celebrate that. We're artists. We're meant to celebrate life. What were we doing for all those years? It's an obligation. Sing with us. Angelique! Yes, sing with us, and I promise you, you will be eternally grateful. To hell with the people we once were.
When have any of you last sung? Never mind the sound you carry in your ears. Has anyone heard you recently? Have you any conception of the sound you now make? Do you really want to be a laughing stock?
Do you think she's right, Reg? I mean, what if we get on stage and we sound like lawnmowers that won't start? I don't want them to laugh at us. I don't want them to whisper, Sissy Robson, Sissy Robson, Sissy Robson.
Do you realize I haven't sung a note for more than 30 years?
Why did you retire so young?
I had no choice.
I thought that's exactly what you had, Jean. I thought you chose to be a wife and a mother.
I had my first child late. How old was I? Over 30. A week or so after Christopher was born, I was offered to meet me at the Met. I accepted. I hadn't performed for almost a year, and although, of course, I knew the role, I thought I'd better do some work on it. So I asked Mona Ross to put me through my paces. She arrived. Dear Mona, such a lovely voice in her day, and afterwards a wonderful teacher. She burst in full of good cheer as usual, sat at my Steinway, played an arpeggio or two, and then struck a chord. I drew breath. I tried to sing, but no sound came out. She struck the note again, with her forefinger. She always had beautifully manicured nails, I remember. I couldn't take my eyes off her finger, hammering out the note again and again. And although I tried as hard as I could, I wasn't able to produce any sound at all except for a sort of choking silence. I have never known such terror in all my life. Doctors were summoned. I went to see Norman Hunt. He couldn't find anything wrong with my chords. I just simply couldn't sing. I even went to a psychiatrist, a Professor Britton. He said that it was probably something to do with postnatal depression, and that given a month or two, all would be well. But it wasn't. Not in a month or two, not in a year or two, not after Emma was born, never again. So there's no point in trying to persuade me to sing at the birthday gala. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I can't sing. I haven't been able to sing for years and years, and that's all there is to it. My gift deserted me.
I remember Mona Ross. I always thought Mona, such an unfortunate name for a singer.
I always wondered what the real reason was.
Now you know.
Now I know.
What a damned awful thing, Jean. What a Damn horrible thing. Bloody doctors.
I'm told it's not uncommon. It happens, I believe, to actors, only they call it stage fright. But what does it matter? I had a good run for my money. I feel better now. They're extraordinary.
I suppose you wouldn't mind letting Bobby Swanson have a go at you. I'm sure he could help you. He's a miracle worker after all. There's nothing for it, Reg. We'll do the trio from the barber.
Believe me, if it was remotely possible, I'd sing for the birthdays of Giuseppe Verdi, Ben Britten, Thomas Beecham, and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I would love nothing better than to be able to sing now as I did then, too. Hear my voice.
Are we all thinking the same thing?
Are we?
Would we get away with it? With lip syncing?
I would. It's the only way I could.
That's what we'll do.
I'm ready.
yet?
Nope.
The fence! Morning, Reg. Carlos found the key.
I hope these costumes are wearable.
Now, where did I put it?
Tell you what, sissy, let me frisk you. I'm sure I'll find it.
Not more than 2 moments ago, Carlos put it into my hand.
Put what into your hand?
It was on a long piece of string.
Really?
Perhaps it's around your neck.
Yes, there it is. Clever, Reggie.
And you haven't told anyone what we're up to.
Of course not. I know how to keep a secret. I know lots of things about lots of people that I've never told another human soul, especially about myself.
You intrigue me, sissy.
Bobby Swanson came toward me like a wasp, anxious to sting. He poked me with his weight stick. It's the conductor's baton, and asked all sorts of questions. He asked who was going to accompany us, and I said Reggie was. And then he laughed in a scornful sort of way and said, "What, will he singing and with one finger?" And then he asked who was going to rehearse us, and I said we didn't need anybody. And he laughed again. So I said, I don't know why, but I said to him, "If you want to know the truth, we're importing a pianist." And he asked from where, and so I said, "New Delhi."
New Delhi? What do you say to that?
I look forward to hearing the quartet from Rigoletto accompanied on a sitar.
Ugh, smells like Mr. Dunworth.
Isn't this fun? Like opening it up and, pardon me, like opening up a attic on a winter's afternoon and dressing up.
I wonder who designed this.
Not Hugo Boss, that's for sure.
They're very faded.
I think they're lovely.
They're not lovely. They're deeply unattractive.
Where's that vest?
You said they had a vest for me.
I refuse to wear them. We'll have to do it in modern dress.
Jean, that would be awful.
I refuse to perform wearing rags. Find someone who can make me something. Sissy, what about you? You always looked as if you made your own clothes. Run me up a costume, will you? These are unwearable.
This has a label. Look, Enrico Cardinal, 1952.
Enrico never sang with the Carl Rosa.
His vest is here.
How odd. Enrico's vest.
He must have took them off while he was visiting. You know what he was like.
In an odd way, he always looked so manly.
That's because he wore a codpiece underneath. His pants, of course. But usually men would use socks. I myself was a 3-sock man.
I didn't think you knew Enrico.
Oh yes, Glendeborn.
That must have been after we.
Hey, Jean, how about this? I could alter it for you.
It's certainly my color. Sorry, Reginald.
You'll have to wear this. It's the only vest we have.
Look at this. Shoes.
I'll wear my own. Thank you very much. I can't bear the thought of wearing other people's shoes, and everything will have to be dry cleaned.
Jean, that will cost a fortune.
I can't help it. I will not wear these costumes unless they're dry cleaned.
The committee has funds. Has it? Florence Tibbs left a small bequest.
Cheeky bugger.
I could put forward a notion at the next meeting that these costumes, that the funds be used to have these costumes cleaned.
Excellent, Sissy, excellent.
You're not just a beautiful body.
How exciting! I've been longing to put forward a motion.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have much to discuss. The rehearsal schedule, the method of work, and when to have the orchestra rehearse with us.
Don't be ridiculous, Reggie. There's no orchestra, so how can we do that?
What fun! What fun! Isn't this fun?
We must aim for perfection, nothing less. What we are attempting is not easy. We have a great deal of work ahead of us.
What work? We all know the opera. We all know the quartet.
My dear Wilfred, none of us have sung for more years than we can decently remember. If we are to do this properly, we must burrow our way back into the opera.
Go easy on me. I'm not as nimble as I once was.
First, Sissy will talk to the committee about dry cleaning. After that, I suggest we all take responsibility for our own costumes. That includes you, Will. Secondly, we should go on as we are now, relearning the parts in our own time. By the last week of August, we should rehearse twice a week. And by mid-September, rehearse every morning. Is that agreed?
Every morning, that's overdoing it a little bit, isn't it?
We'll need it, believe me. What we are attempting, again, is not easy. Now then, Rigoletto by Giuseppe Verdi, and please pay attention because what I have to say is of great importance, was based on the play by Victor Hugo.
Jean Gabin!
No, Victor Hugo.
No. Jean Gabin is the name of the actor I was trying to remember. The French actor.
Yes, Jean Gabin. Handsome, ugly Jean Gabin. Jean, a woman's name, same as yours.
Same as mine. So it is. Why didn't I remember? God, one's memory is totally mystifying.
But what was the name of the film?
What film?
I'm going to explore.
Oh, to hell with this! I'm not going on! Let's forget all about it!
Don't be like that, Reg. We're listening. Aren't we?
As you may remember...
What about makeup?
I beg your pardon!
Who's going to do our makeup?
You'll have to do it yourself now. Please just shut up.
Do not speak to me like that! I have never done my own makeup, and I don't intend on starting now.
Then don't wear any.
Up here without makeup?
Jean, I'll do it for you.
God, this is going to be amateur night.
I'm not entirely sure what that means.
Jean, I said I would do it for you, gladly. I'm going to do Anne Langley's at the same time.
You'll need a lot of makeup for that face.
You're a monster, Jean. There's Cecily Robson, not unknown in her day, accommodating you at every twist and turn of your monstrous ego, and all you do is insult her. Can't you be gracious for just once in your life?
No, I can't. Don't do that!
Do what?
You know very well what you did. It's disgusting and obscene.
I didn't do anything. All I did was pinch your bum.
Precisely. How would you like if I pinched your bum?
I'd love it. I've never had my bum pinched. What about you, Reg? Go on. Pinch it. Pinch my bum.
You revolt me. You always did. But you make me laugh. Don't know why. Yes, I do. You're a giver of life, and that is a lovely thing. Thank you, Sissy. I should be very happy for you to make me up.
I can do yours at the same time, Reg. And I'll do you as well, Will.
I'd like that. And you can make me up, if you'd so like.
You see, he's totally
Please pay attention. As you may already know, but I believe it is worth repeating, Rigoletto by Giuseppe Verdi with a Lombardo by Maria Cavier was based on the play by Victor Hugo. Let me remind you what Victor Hugo said after seeing Rigoletto. And remember, he resented its success. He said, if I can only make 4 of my characters speak at the same time and have the audience grasp the words and sentences, I would obtain the very same effect. Now, as to our performance. Angelique! Angelique! Takes no notice of me! Cow!
Lovely, the gala has begun. The men and women look lovely and are singing lustfully, although Bobby Swanson is taking it awfully slowly, and it gets slower and slower. I thought the tenors were going to explode.
Do my makeup, please.
When I'm finished over here, it'll be your turn, Reggie.
Thank you, Sissy dear, but I think I'll manage. Bobby Swanson very kindly lent me some of his foundation and rouge.
That was very kind of him. You see, people are kind.
He thought he could bribe me into telling him what we were up to, but I gave nothing away.
Matron says there will be a 5-minute break between items.
Why?
Ladders. I'm not nervous, are you?
Of course I'm nervous. Every great artist is nervous before a performance. It's the respect we pay our audience.
It's so odd not having to do a warm-up.
When you have a moment, Reg, can you help me with this?
Won't be long.
I'll do my eyes myself, thank you. I always did.
Jean dear, please so kind as to come sit nearer to the windows. My makeup will light up.
It was only expected that my hip would be particularly troublesome today.
It's nerves. It's a Dr. Kogan called psychosomatic.
She can call it what she likes. I don't wish this pain on anyone.
Want a drink, old son?
No, thank you.
Cheers. Here's to us, ladies. God bless.
You're not drinking before a performance, are you?
I am before this one. In fact, I have one bottle of soap before every performance, during expression, and after. Gives body to the voice.
Why he needs to give body to his voice tonight of all nights, God only knows.
I've got direction, so I have a bit more light. I can help you with your bow tie now, Wilf. I'm not entirely sure how to tie it. I suppose Melissa always tied it for you. It's not gonna work. I have an idea.
What's your idea?
This one clips right on. You never needed one of these, you see. You had Melissa.
Oh, don't go on about Melissa.
She must have been very long suffering putting up with you. Why do you say that? You know what you're like. Everyone does. Melissa must have known too. All that sleeping around like the Duke and Rigoletto.
I did not sleep around. I was faithful for 35 years.
I find that hard to believe. And I must tell you, Will, people thought you behaved rather badly being unfaithful to Melissa. There, I'm finished now. See what you think.
Not bad. Not bad at all, Sissy.
Thank you. I'm going to go get ready now.
Are you finished yet? I'd like to go show the girls.
Okay. There. How's this?
Dreadful. Do you think it's too much?
Just a tad. You look a little bit like a high school student that hasn't hit puberty yet.
They don't approve.
I can see why.
Sissy, borrow my eyes.
1 minute. Perfect. Now, if there's anything else I need
Oh,
to do,
for God's sake, stop being so helpful and kind. I can't bear it.
I'm not helpful and not kind. I'm repentant.
What do you have to be repentant about?
I've led a very dissolute life.
Nonsense.
I have.
Clip on. They take an awful long time to put on.
Someone once told me that I craved affection, and that's why I was so flighty.
We all crave affection. We all want to be loved.
I was sent away to England for boarding school. My parents remained in India, and I hardly knew them. My father's name was Clive Robson. He liked to call himself the Clive of India. He died when I was just about to finish my schooling, and because of that, Mother thought it best that I didn't go back for the funeral. And so I stayed with my aunt Fiona. Not a kind person and dead against me becoming a singer. And then Mother wrote to say that she was coming home, but she died a week before the ship sailed. I can't really remember when I last saw either of them. Mother and father, I mean. And so I said to my Aunt Fiona, thank you for all you've done, and goodbye. And I never saw her again either. But, Jean, I don't want you to think I'm asking for sympathy. No, NSP, no self-pity. It's just that men were an awful distraction, and they never treated me fairly, though I suspect I encouraged that.
You and me both, dear.
In my case, I think I ought to tell you I had a fling with Enrico Cardinal.
Did you, Sissy?
Yes, I did, and I'm sorry. He was a dreadful disappointment. But then again, weren't they all? I can't put it more delicately than that.
Was that while I was with him?
Yes.
And I thought he was gay.
Oh, he was. But he kept trying not to be. He confessed to me, you see. One of those awful confessions when you lie side by side in the dark and he starts by saying, this has never happened before. and then it all comes out.
Why are all the most attractive men gay?
That's just our luck.
Do you think Reg is gay?
No,
Why are you so sure? You haven't had a fling with him, I know that.
of course not. He's much too uptight and genteel, and he gives off no scent. I like my men manly. Alas, it's a very wrong quality in a man.
Do me up, will you?
But why are you, of all people, asking me about Reg? You were married to him after all.
Yeah, but not for long enough.
How long?
Exactly 9 hours.
9 hours.
You mustn't hear, it's too humiliating. And don't tell Wilfred, please. It's not something of which I'm particularly proud.
9 hours?
We were married at 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon in May. We left the reception at 8:30. My father rented us a suite at the Savoy Hotel. We were to spend the night there and then go to Rome the next morning for our honeymoon. We had a champagne supper in the suite. I remember. Reg ate scrambled eggs, toast, and lime marmalade. At around 11 o'clock, we undressed. He in the bathroom, I in the bedroom. Naked, I lay on the bed waiting. He returned, wearing his pajamas, and lay beside me. He turned off the lights, and then I, too, had one of those awful confessions, lying side by side in the dark. Only with Reggie, it was not so much a case of, this has never happened before, but this always happens. And according to doctors, always will.
Poor Reggie.
Poor me.
And then you walked out?
No, first I tried to comfort him, encourage him.
And then you walked out.
No, I didn't walk. I ran. I took a taxi to Temperance Hotel in Russell Square and slept soundly. Later, years later, several husbands later, I discovered that sex was much overrated. I thought it terribly messy. I should have stayed with Reggie.
How's this? Any better?
Yes, much.
I approve. Jean, could you do me up now?
Sure. God, this is too tight for you, Sissy. I can't fasten it.
But try. I altered it.
I am trying, but you were too hopeful. I can't fasten it.
I'll take it off. I'll let it out a bit more. God. Well, then I'm off. Goodbye.
Sissy, where are you going?
Home. Didn't I tell you? I'm going home. First class tickets.
What are you talking about?
I'm traveling first class. I've never done that before. Only coach. Oh, I do hope my nanny remembers me. Bye.
Sissy! Crisis!
If they catch her in this state.
Sissy left and she was in a tizzy talking about India.
How awful. I nearly left without saying goodbye. Goodbye, Wilfred. Goodbye, Reginald. Wish me bon voyage. I can't wait to see India again.
She's done for. We're all done for.
Sissy, you're to not leave this room. It is Giuseppe Verdi's birthday gala. Carlos is in the audience. He said he can't wait to see you perform. The quartet from Rigoletto, Sissy. The quartet!
I do hope it goes well for you guys. I shall send you all postcards from the Nile. Goodbye.
Sissy, pull yourself together. Take hold, Sissy dear, please. Please, take hold. You're not going anywhere. You're staying here. With your fellow artists? With your friends? Sissy, your ship doesn't sail for 2 weeks.
Doesn't it? What time is it?
Late. Get to work on your costume.
Right. It's the small things that upset one. I'll fit. I know it'll fit.
That was a close one.
Well done, Jean.
I had a lot of experience with my mother, only she used to become violent.
I was gonna ask Sissy if she could paint on a beard and mustache.
Why don't you? Make her feel wanted.
Sissy, dear, I don't want to fuss you, but if you have a moment, could you come and give me a hand?
In a minute. Okay, let's try this again, Jean.
It never occurred to me
What did?
that people thought I was unfaithful to Melissa.
Of course they did. Just think of the way you go on.
That hurts me, Reg. That really does. Melissa, did you know they misdiagnosed her? If they had caught it earlier, no, there's no justice. Bloody doctors. Unfaithful to Melissa. That's unthinkable. She was my harshest critic. She loved everything I did. Yes, I sowed a few wild oats before I met her, but I had a rule, you see?
What was that?
I had to fall in love with the girl before I vetted her. I had to say I loved her, and I wanted to hear her say that she loved me. Though, I don't think I was ever in love until I met Melissa. And then, I found commitment suited me. Not much of virtue in this day and age, but that's how I was. That's how I am. You, on the other hand, never mentioned the other sex. Makes me think you were a bit of a Don Juan, were you?
I had my moments.
Yes, I bet you did. I'd like to hear it in every dirty detail.
Well, just thank God for that.
Reggie's first.
Sissy, dear, could you paint on a beard and mustache?
I'd love to.
Can't you find somewhere else to sit? I'm trying to focus.
I wanted to have a talk.
About what?
Our sticks. I think we should make it through the performance without them.
I'm not sure I can. My hip's very bad tonight.
I don't think I can either, but it'll be more dignified, more operatic. And I think it'll be like waiting in the wing, dying for a pee, then getting on stage and forgetting all about it.
I may have to lean on you.
Lean on Reggie. He'll be pleased. He adores you.
Does he?
Yeah, I don't think Reggie ever stopped loving you.
How do you know? Has he said so?
No, but I have these amazing intuitions.
How ironical to contemplate a future with Reginald Paget.
I wonder what we'll find to do after all of this is over.
There, I'm done. See what you think, Reggie.
Excellent, Sissy. You're a true artist.
Thanks, Reg. And just remember, it's never too late. Think of the Eiffel Tower. And if that doesn't work, there's a man outside Madras who mixes the most magical potions. Will, do you need anything?
Just the once over on my face. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, but you have to sit on your hands. I know you.
I'll practice walking without my stick. I managed without it when I entered George's box at Covent Garden. Did I tell you I received a standing ovation?
Don't be long, you two. I think we're on next. You look very beautiful, Jean.
And you very handsome.
And soon we will be young again. Marry me. You've all given so generously, and we thank you with our hearts. And because of it, the quartet, with your generous support, have done it. Beecham House lives on. I'd also like to thank those attending the gala itself. The preparations and rehearsals have kept everyone busy and very excited for the past few months. I and all my staff here at Beecham House owe those in our care an enormous debt. Their love of life, as we know, is infectious. Their love of life, as we know, is infectious. It keeps them young, and it gives us faith for the future. I mean that. Thank you so much. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the quartet performing Act 3, Scene 1 of Rigoletto by the great maestro Giuseppe Verdi.
apprezzar